Hey guys, Mike Bizarre here, Bizarre Solutions. Today we're going to talk about disk encryption. Sorry I'm all congested. All the weather and allergies and everything else has gotten the best of me. So a couple of things. So disk encryption is essentially where you secure the contents of your hard drive, whether it's in a phone, mobile device, laptop, desktop, by creating a secure encryption around that. The encryption requires a password to decrypt. And so again, if you're going to have encryption turned on but don't have a password, it's fairly worthless. Without encryption, say you lose your laptop, and even if you have a password on your laptop, I can pull your hard drive out and I can stick it in my computer and I can access it. It's really that easy. So with encryption, everything on your hard drive looks like it's trash. I have no idea what it is and my computer doesn't know what to do with it is. And I can't pull the data out of it unless I decrypt your data, which I either need your password or I need years of time to run decryption software on. So encrypting your data helps keep you safe and protected. Now, keep in mind, if you are in certain industries, medical, health, or a big one, dental, everybody that falls into that falls under HIPAA. There's a lot of regulation around those, and financial, that you actually have to have disk encryption. And even if you're in an industry that doesn't require it, we always recommend it. So real quick on iPhones, iPhone devices are always encrypted. The newest versions of it for the last couple of years have had full disk encryption turned on. So if you have an iPhone or any iOS device, you're covered, but make sure you have a password, because again, without a password, it's pretty worthless. You can also do some other cool things with iOS, like if you go into the security settings under, I think it's under your passcode/face ID, you can go down and you can turn off the USB is accessible when your device is locked. So if you turn that off, then if you put a USB device in, all it will do is charge. A lot of, honestly, law enforcement was using it to hack phones. So if you're not doing anything illegal, that's probably not a big deal. But if you have, again, important information on your phone that you don't want anybody to ever have access to because you are, medical, health, financial, that kind of thing, I would advise it, because if you lose it, it just makes it harder for somebody to try to hack into your phone. So again, with Android or with iOS, just make sure you've got a passcode on it and encryption's turned on by default. With Android, the more recent versions of it have it. It's been forced, but older phones may not have it. It supported it for a long time, but it wasn't forced and turned on. And so if you've got an older phone, do a Google search on your model to see if encryption is turned on or not. But if you've got anything in the last probably year and a half, 2 years, you're covered. Again, if you want to be safe and you're in those highly regulated fields, I would do a quick search just to make sure you're covered. Again, any of these devices, if you don't have a passcode on it, the encryption is essentially worthless, because all I have to do is turn it on and I can go look at your data. So make sure you're putting a passcode on your phones. The other thing I say is, before you turn on encryption, if you haven't turned it on, is make sure you have a backup of your data. If you lose your password and your data is encrypted, it is gone forever. One of the big virus attacks right now is ransomware. They encrypt your data and they won't give you the password to decrypt it unless you give them money. And it is as good as gone if you don't have a password or a backup. So make sure that you've got a backup of it. Another note on Androids will take SD cards. Obviously iPhones don't, but an Android will take an SD card. That may not be encrypted. There's an option in the settings where you can go turn on that disk encryption as well. So I recommend, if you've got important information on your phone, again, medical, financial, those industries, turn on disk encryption on your SD card as well. So the last kind of quick thing, Mac devices, you can encrypt Macs. If you go in and you look, it's called File Vault, and so go look up File Vault and you can turn on encryption. Just do a quick Google search and encrypt that. The newest Macs that just came out have a T2 chip that they use hardware-based encryption, so encryption will be a little different. So if you have a brand new Mac, like literally the ones that just came out, do a little Google search on it to figure out if you need to encrypt it or not. And then on Windows devices, everything since Windows 7 has had BitLocker. BitLocker you can turn on and it will encrypt your drive. And so I always recommend everybody turn that on. Again, make sure, like with File Vault, you can use your iCloud passwords to unlock it as a secondary. You can use a Microsoft account if you have it set up to do it with your Windows PC as well. But make sure you write down that code they give you. It's a big key code, and put that in a safe spot, preferably offline. But make sure you've got a safe spot, so that if your computer you forget your password or can't get into it for some reason, that you can have that decryption key to rescue your data. So again, turn on encryption if you think you need it. I would generally say everybody needs it. And if you guys have any questions, as always, you can feel free to give our office a holler. If it's business related, if it's personal, we can point you in the right directions of some people that we work with around that as well. Thanks, guys.